Live from all over this beautiful land, this is the Testosterone Zone with the fine men, Noel, Keith, and Steve. Take it, boys!
Hey, everybody, and welcome again to episode 35 of the Testosterone Zone podcast. My name is Keith, and I got to tell you, our friend Noel is out on vacation today, so that's okay. We've got some awesome company joining us to support Noel while he's out. Steve, you there, bud?
I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Welcome, Steve. Glad you're here, bud. How's things up in Alaska today?
It is beautiful today. Really is.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like Noel got snow today. So are you getting snow up there? He's in Colorado. Are you getting snow yet?
We have not seen that here in the city yet of Juneau.
Okay. Well, that's all right. Soon enough, I'm sure. Then you'll be wishing you hadn't had it, right?
Definitely.
And we have our friend John from Guns Up Nation. He is joining us again. John, how you doing, man?
Hey, fellas, I'm doing pretty good, but I'm getting a little jealous about the snow talk. It was 84 degrees today. I mean,
oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hopefully y'all can send it down our way. I'm kind of tired of mowing my grass.
I'm ready for that to start dying too. I'm tired of mowing grass. I know what you mean.
Oh Lord, yeah.
I was in San Antonio last week, and each morning it was mid 80s and 100% humidity. It felt like it was terrible. I don't miss that at all.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. You got the humidity. Luckily, we don't have the humidity over in West Texas, but you still do, right, John?
Oh Lord, yeah. In the shower, I'm gonna walk out the door.
I can imagine. Oh my gosh. Well, man, we're glad you're on. Thank you for coming back and joining us again. We had a blast the last time we visited with you, and we're just thrilled that you came back on. And you've had a little bit of a life change since we visited last, didn't you? You kind of up and relocated, and now you're bouncing between places and all sorts of stuff.
Oh Lord, yeah. I last time we talked, I was dual career. I was a teacher and a preacher, and education was good to me, but the Lord opened an opportunity for me to go full-time. I'm awesome. Full-time pastor now at Carroll Springs United Methodist Church.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And I watched your, you guys do a live stream online. I enjoyed your sermon. I watched it last weekend, or this weekend, I guess you should say. So it was a good one. You're doing great things, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, you're doing great things. And awesome. I'm really glad y'all are doing that streaming. That's kind of fun. You're going to reach an audience you didn't know you had, man. Including me. So, yeah, man. So I guess next we're going to turn it over to Steve. It is time for the weekly fun that we're having with this college football season, the Pick 5 Challenge. So for those new to our podcast, let me explain a little bit what this Pick 5 Challenge is. Back several episodes ago, we came up with a term, cautiously pessimistic, that basically we have decided, in addition to loving our alma mater in Texas Tech, that we would come up with a backup team that even if we're having maybe a hard off weekend, we can still have another team that we can cheer on and root for. And so we'll talk about those in a little bit. But the Pick 5 Challenge is a competition that we're having among our listeners. We've got over 30 teams right now that are picking 5 games. Steve picks 5 games each week. And among those games, each of us will submit who we think is going to win and lose. And at the end of the season, we will be giving out some Testosterone Zone swag to the winners. So, you ready to go, buddy?
Let's do it, man. So last week was a tough week overall for a lot of us and our listeners, as there was not a single person that went 5-0 last week. My good buddy Mike, Ryan, and Josh K all went 4-1 last week, and that's the best overall results. Keith, looks like you went 2-3.
I was honest. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
you were going to give me 3 and 2.
I appreciate that. Noel was also 2-3.
And I was really hoping that I'd stick with it, but I got a second change of heart, so I told him I was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, Noel did what?
So Noel was also 2-3. Man, John, I gotta be honest with you. You were 1-4 last week, and
I know. I love the Lord, but I came pretty close to cursing on Saturday. I was so pissed, like all my things just went to wash. I looked at my wife and said, if I ever get out of the ministry and go to bed, and we might as well declare bankruptcy in advance.
Yeah.
Too funny.
It wasn't a good day, man.
Yeah, I managed to finish managed to finish 3-2 for the season. Mike leads at 25-5. Pretty impressive. 25 right out of 30 so far. I don't know how.
Nice job.
Yeah, definitely.
It frustrates me that a Longhorn's in first place, but congratulations.
Yeah. They have a lot to be proud about so far. As we look at our backup teams, first of all, John, I know you're a huge Red Raider fan, and I just got to put you on the spot. If there's another team out there that you root for, that's your bandwagon team, who would that be?
That's a good question. Truth be told, and I kind of have to do this, I've got Ken over in Birmingham, and down there, if you don't root for the Tide or for Auburn, you might as well be rooting for the Devil. And I hate to say it because I was just getting into a back and forth with a fan on the Guns Up page. So, Alabama really hasn't played anybody. Their schedule is about as soft as a pillow.
That's true.
But, truth be told, it's not the teams that are going to make Alabama better. It really is their coach. And I hate to say it, but as long as Nick Saban is down there, then I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's kind of his mojo, or maybe the schedule does help him a little bit. But Tech certainly ain't going to win the national title this year. My inclination is to say Alabama's going to win this, but then I saw Notre Dame and Virginia Tech the other night, and
they look good.
I know Virginia Tech lost the Old Dominion, but Notre Dame looked sharp. They went on the road with that whole intimidating Enter Sandman Metallica intro that Virginia Tech likes to throw in, and Notre Dame played well. So if I had to have a second team that I thought could contend for the title, the Irish look good. Now, I'd like to see them kind of make some noise this year.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to hear them back in the circles a little bit, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So there it is. Notre Dame for John.
So
I like it.
Yeah. So that being said, our backup team's Noel, as John mentioned, Alabama won 65-31. If you heard Nick Saban talk, he swore they lost that game because he was all he could talk about was the defense and how bad they were. Keith, your team Clemson, man, they took it to Wake Forest and won 63-3. And then then my team Georgia beat Vanderbilt 41-13, and I watched most of that first half, and it was really tight until halftime. But as we look at rankings, Alabama's still number 1, Georgia's still number 2, and Clemson's number 4. And Ohio State keeps on winning. Wisconsin looks good out there, so a lot of good teams left.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So
isn't it Wisconsin and Michigan this weekend too? Isn't it?
It sure is. Yeah, matter of fact, College Game Day is going to be there, and that's actually going to be one of our games we talk about. So
okay, well, don't let me steal your thunder. Go ahead and tell us what the games are this week.
Nice segue there, Keith. So we're going to do first of all, as Keith mentioned, out of the Big Ten, number 16 Wisconsin at number 15 Michigan. Next game, we're actually have 2 out of the Pac-12. Number 19 Colorado at USC. The next game is going to be number 7 Washington at number 17 Oregon. Let me make sure I have that right. Yeah, Oregon. Number 2 Georgia at number 13 LSU. Out of the
That's
SEC.
going to be a good game.
Yep. And then I picked this one for Noel out of the Mid-American Conference. Ball State at Central Michigan. So Noel will enjoy hearing about that game. So.
All right, fair enough. So that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah. So John, we like to start out with our guests, and so we'll start with you. Number 16 Wisconsin at number 15 Michigan. Who you got?
Harbaugh keeps on beating against the wall with a hammer, and a coach of his stature, you'd like to think is going to break through. And I know Michigan loves him, but I was going to talk about this later. Sometimes it's not always good to go back to your alma mater, and he needs to break through with a win. And I have a feeling Michigan gets Wisconsin this weekend. I would say 24-21.
All righty.
Okay.
So that's
Michigan's favor, huh?
There we go. Keith,
Yeah.
who do you have between these two?
I'm going to go Michigan too. I'm a Wolverine fan, honestly, and so I'm picking Michigan to pull this one out.
Well, I think there's definitely something to be said about home field advantage for Michigan, but I just don't think that they've proven that they are a good team yet. And I think Wisconsin is going to make the whole nation realize just how good they are against Michigan. So I'm going with Wisconsin.
All right.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Go get them.
Good pick.
So next game out of the Pac-12, number 19, Colorado at USC. Keith, we'll start with you.
Oh my gosh. This is a tough one, man. Golly. I think I'm going to go. Gosh, USC has let me down a couple of weekends. What is Colorado's rank? What is their rank? What are their? I mean, what's their win-loss record?
I believe they're undefeated right now, which is surprising because they really have struggled forever since they left the Big 12. And
yeah,
see if I can find this game real quick here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Colorado. I see it here, 5-0. Yeah, you're right. They're 19 in the nation right now.
Yeah, they are.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Colorado.
All
even
right.
though USC on ESPN has a 74% win chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but USC's let me down twice. I'm going Colorado.
Okay. I'm gonna go against my first pick and go with home field advantage this time. I think USC is too tough at home, and I think Colorado is actually probably one of those teams that really hasn't played anybody yet. So I'm going to take USC to beat Colorado. John, who do you have?
All right.
See, fellas, to me, USC, when they played UT a few weeks ago, you had bloody Matthew McConaughey jumping with the UT kids on the sideline. And you had everything, was USC just looked terrible. So I'll just put it that way. Their offense was horrible. But one of y'all said something pretty key. USC has at least played people early, and Colorado might be pretty legit, but their record early looks kind of smoke and mirrors to me. And I'm going to go with the Trojans just simply because they've been tested early on. USC beats Colorado, and they kind of get off the mat, with their season. I'll give them a 4-point spread. Good gracious, 20-16.
Oh, man!
So that was for Colorado.
USC.
Gotcha.
So you both are USCs. I feel like I'm on an island here, but that's okay.
Well, you never know.
I always liked Hawaii. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
I always feel good after I do my picks, thinking this is the week I go 5-0, and then that doesn't happen.
Well, what was funny about last week is we all pretty much had consensus and we got torn up. Yeah. It was funny.
Oh, yeah.
As a group, this is our worst week overall last week. So, so let's jump ahead to number 7, Washington, at number 17, Oregon. I'll take this one first. This is the third time we've featured Washington in the pick 5, and each time I've gone against them, and I'm not doing that this time. Even though they're going into Eugene and playing on Oregon's home turf, they've proven to me that Washington's just too tough to lose anybody this year. So I think they might be a college playoff contender. We'll see.
Fair enough.
John, who do you have?
What do you think, John?
You know what? To me, I'm just looking at. I was kind of looking at some stats, on my computer. I'm going to go with Oregon at home. Just you go up to those mountains. Anybody that goes there always has a battle. It's always tough. I know Washington's got a pretty solid head coach there. They're always well coached. You go into Oregon and win, you might as well have the staff of Moses to bring it with you. Otherwise, you lose. So, Oregon wins that one. I couldn't even tell you a score on that, though. It'll probably be pretty high scoring because it's a Pac-12.
Yeah.
35-28.
All right.
There you go.
Keith, who do you have?
Huskies were my backup team last year, and so I still have love. So I'm going Huskies.
All righty. Speaking of going into Eugene, Stanford went there and actually came back from 3 touchdowns down to win that game. And then I think they've lost 2 straight. They lost to Utah last week. So go figure. Never know what Stanford's going to do.
Right. It's true.
So let's move ahead to the SEC. Number 2, Georgia. At number 13, LSU. John, who do you have in this one?
You know what? LSU, there's a couple of former Tech guys that moved over there, and every bit of me wants to pick Georgia. For Hoko, I can maybe understand, leaving because your brother was gone. Well, if your brother's gone, then that was probably his only connection to the university. So, of course, he's going to leave. But Giles, I never want to bash college kids for making decisions, but he's made this jump to LSU, and I'm just looking at some stat lines here, and I don't really see any kind of upside that he's had since he's left Tech.
I agree.
It tells me that he left not because he wasn't getting the ball or getting a fair shot, but it sounds like more like a discipline issue, that he just didn't like, Rusty Witt, his special forces discipline way. He wanted to go somewhere where people would leave him alone, and it hadn't worked out for him. That said, if I hear one more time that the SEC is going to get 2 teams in, I really don't know what I'm going to do. So I would love to see LSU beat Georgia, not one of those SEC teams out of the top 4, and this SEC is the best top to rest. So LSU is going to beat Georgia. It's in Death Valley. Jonathan Giles might catch a punt return for 5 yards and whatever. If that's what he wants, if that's the kind of career he wants, then more power to him.
That's right.
But I don't see Georgia winning this one. I think LSU beats them. I would say by 3. It's an SEC game, so wouldn't surprise me if it was 9-6. You didn't even see a touchdown score.
Right.
Anyway, LSU wins that one.
All righty. Well, Keith, who do you have?
Well, I think this is a tough one because I think LSU has something to prove after last week. But I think Georgia. I think this could be Georgia's national championship year. So I really do. So I'm gonna have to pick Georgia on this one.
Okay. Well,
I know it hurts. It hurts, John. I know.
I know, and that's what pleased me more than seeing Nick Saban, for what, not be talked about in the national title game, to see Georgia or somebody else. If you're going to send the SEC, send somebody from Georgia, but I don't know.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. We'll see. Georgia's my backup team, and this will definitely be the biggest challenge they've seen this season. And if they lose this game, this might be our first backup team change of the season, but I just don't see that happening. I think they're too strong. The wide receiver talent's awesome. The running backs just unstoppable, and they pretty much took over in that last game with their running attacks. So I think it's going to be a tight one, probably through the third quarter, and then we'll see Georgia stretched out in the fourth quarter. So I'm sticking with my backup team, Georgia.
Go get him, buddy.
Yeah. So, as you know, we picked a game out of the Mid-American. Ball State at Central Michigan. That is the Cardinals versus the Chippewas.
You see, what do you do with this? Like, like we have a hot football game, and then it's boom.
Yeah.
Ball State.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to go for gut on this one, John. It's no time to research.
I see this, and I'm just quick glance at the stat, whatnot. I'm going to kind of roll the dice and say Central Michigan gets this one.
All righty.
I couldn't tell you the score, but it'd be a touchdown spread, 44-17.
I got to tell you, I'm with you. I don't even know what conference are they in.
They're in the Mid-American Conference.
Mid-American, okay.
Everybody's got to play ball. You got to give a conference somewhere.
Yeah,
it's true.
Just
That's
so you know,
true.
the ESPN predictor actually does give a slight edge 55% chance for Central Michigan to win. So if that matters to anybody, there you go.
Right. There you go.
Looks like the teams are.
Who you got, Steve?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the upset here and go with Ball State. Going Ball State.
There you go. Hey, that's good, man. That's good.
Keith, who do you have?
That's right. I guess I'm going to flip a coin here, and I'm going to go Central Michigan too. Why not?
Okay.
So
very good. You know what's funny?
Split it up a little bit.
This game might be the difference maker for everybody. You never know.
It may be, because that's a pretty close percentage of win chances and everything. Yeah. So this could definitely catch some people off guard.
Definitely got to keep it fun. So. Anyway, well,
absolutely.
That is our picks for this week. Congratulations to our winners last week and our winners so far for the season. So impressive, 25 out of 30. So, all right, Keith.
Absolutely.
Back to you, bud.
I'm actually going to turn it over to our friend John here. So John is one of the, as we talked about last time. He's one of the administrators off of the Guns Up Nation fan page for Texas Tech. We're so glad you're back, man, and really wanted to just turn this over to you today. We've got a lot to talk about with the TCU game coming up this week for Texas Tech, as well as the start of coming up within less than a month. We've got our first basketball game of the year, I believe.
Wow. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm turning it over to you. Give me your thoughts on what's going on here.
Well, thank you. And, there's a couple notes that I was making during the day. I finished the sermon and I switched gears, kind of looking at what was coming out across the news wire and some things that are noteworthy. Kingsbury and Patterson are kind of playing the quote Don Williams, a game of who's going to play quarterback. Patterson's not really saying that. He's saying that their quarterback Robinson's going to play, but he doesn't know if he's going to start. Kingsbury said in his press conference today that he expects all the quarterbacks to be ready. And I don't know what to say to that. I'm not a doctor. I know, as y'all know, Bowman suffered a collapsed lung in the West Virginia game. I don't know how fast he can come back from that. But we'll see. They obviously know more than we do. All eyes, though, are kind of on Jet Duffy, to start this game, just simply because the dynamic comeback that he had in the West Virginia game almost brought him back for 25-point deficit. You could see some Vince Carter. Ryan Hyatt made a good point today on his show that you could, throw the horn dogs for a loop if you prepare for Jet Duffy all week, but then you come out with Carter for a series or two, see if he can catch him napping, and then bring in Duffy, kind of like a change-up, maybe a bullpen reliever type situation with the quarterback. I don't know. There's lots of options that can go with a quarterback. They're doing that really salty 70s throwback. Did y'all see that on Twitter today?
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure every traditionalist everywhere swooned when they saw pictures of those 70s stars on the helmets. I'm a tradition guy myself. I kind of wish that Tech had stuck with the tradition look, but recruits like to play for the flashy stuff. So whatever.
Got to have a little bit, right?
Yeah. but we're looking at this TCU game and. Defensively, I know everybody's kind of hanging their hats on that front seven, and really the entire defense as being the strength of the program. They have gotten better. They've had a couple of shutouts against some high-profile teams. I say high-profile. I know Oklahoma State's kind of having a bad year, but traditionally they've given Tech fits, and Tech gets a shutout.
Yeah.
Them just a couple weeks ago in the second half. West Virginia, that was instrumental in their comeback. But for this game, I really can't see anywhere on the stat sheet where we've seen Justice Parker breakout game. And I have a feeling if you're going to beat TCU this week, it's time for Justice to kind of have a coming out party. You get a pick or two, maybe Gibbs can send them on a blitz so they get a hurry. It would really be good just to see him kind of get his groove back, if you will, if you're going to see Tech be successful on Thursday night. I think the same thing can be said for Johnson. I know he had a great game in the Oklahoma State game. He had a hurry or a sack, or he had some tackles. You'd like to see him kind of have a big game. Offensively, talking to Mikel and Hilary, and Caleb, and the reason why you won 2 games as underdogs. So Houston, I know Tech started out a favorite, but then it kind of swung to Houston by kickoff. So Tech was an underdog by kickoff. They won that game, and they won the OSU game because, frankly, they could run the ball. Henry had 24 carries for 111 yards on the Houston game. Felton kind of had a coming out party at the OSU game. You really had a lot of respect for a guy like that who was going to transfer. The guy was going to be gone back in the spring. And he comes back, wanted to finish off the year with his friends and his coaches, and he had a great game in the OSU game. So if you're going to beat TCU, you need big games from Justice, from Johnson. You'd like to see a big game in the running game. It doesn't matter his quarterback, but Patterson's going to get after you if he can't get anything on the ground. We think the key to the game is going to be third down. Here's an interesting stat. TCU offensively converts 45% of the time on third down. 45%. And in contrast, Tech, as of last Monday during the bye week, was 44th in the NCAA on third down conversions, which means that teams only make third down 24% of the time.
Holy cow.
That's been Tech's big stat this year. Last year was turnovers. This year, they get off the field on third down. I know they played Lamar. I know, they haven't. I mean, some of their competition's been okay. But the reason why you won as underdogs against Houston and against LSU, and the reason why you came back against West Virginia. West Virginia was 1 for 6 on third down in that second half. That's why you're able to come back in the game. So if you can win on third down with TCU, get off the field with them, see some big games because you're running backs. Here's another interesting stat. In the OSU and the Houston game, you had, let me click on the stats here. You had, in the OSU game, you had 2 sacks, 7 tackles for a loss, and 6 pass breakups, and 5 hurdles. In the Houston game, that was about the same. You had a sack, 6 tackles for a loss, and 5 pass breakups. Tech's going to have to be disruptive if you're going to beat TCU. Doesn't matter who's quarterback.
Yeah.
Whether it be Robinson or whether it be this cat from Penn that Patterson's very high on. He hasn't played a lot this year. He sat out a year last year. If you can be disruptive, stop them on third down, find some success in the running game, and I'm just ready to see Justice Parker go get him some. Whether it be anything to get on the stat sheet to help Texas Tech out, he needs to have a big game.
Yeah, he does.
Really, really, really does. I don't know what y'all's thoughts are, but it's talking to Mikel and Hilary. That's kind of some of our knee-jerk reactions. What do y'all think is going to happen this week?
Well, I can tell you,
think, Steve?
From my perspective, I hate Thursday night games because we seem to never get up for them. And I think of the old Leach days when we had a lot of Thursday and Friday night games, and golly, it was usually a score fest. The game ended at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then we ended up, losing and hating ourselves for staying up that late for a loss. But difference is that here in Alaska, that game comes on at 3:30. So, hey, that's a little bit different. But, I think the key to our game is I really hope Cliff finds something that works and he sticks to it. And I think he'll ride a hot streak on some play calling and all of a sudden just leave it. And all of a sudden we're doing a delayed handoff up the middle, and that never works. And so, I'm hoping that, Cliff calls a good game because Patterson's a sharp dude, and he'll definitely, the weird thing is Cliff's beat Patterson last time they were in TCU. So it should be a good game. I think you're right. It's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be one of those games where just which coach calls the better game overall.
Yeah. I think for me, it's a complete 4-quarter game. That was the difference between Oklahoma State and West Virginia, in my opinion. West Virginia, we looked shell shocked going out of there. And then after we finally got our composure, we came back and almost won that game, other than just a last few minute interception there. But, Oklahoma was complete. Every quarter, Tech dominated. I mean, it was just no question. And I think the key, in my opinion, to beating TCU is to go and have a solid 4 quarters of games, and you cannot waste a quarter and hope you can recover from a team like TCU in Patterson.
Yeah.
So,
it's interesting. I'm looking at the stuff here, and with every game, even Ole Miss, I know they kind of outraged Tech early, but with every game in the 4th quarter, Tech the entire offseason was hashtagging things have changed, hashtag finish, and so on. And you think about what happened in K-State last year, what happened in the West Virginia game in the second half last year. Tech typically gets stronger, right, as the game goes on. And if they're behind, they simply don't panic. They don't quit. They stick to the plan. I think Kevin Johns has a big thing to do with that. He kind of brings a calm to this coaching staff that you really didn't have, before. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you this: if you can get in, if you can start fast, I will really be shocked if Tech ever starts like that again. 11 a.m. or otherwise, just because there's so much riding on that West Virginia game, and everybody just felt good, and then they just came out and just laid an egg.
Yeah.
In that first half, I really don't see that happening back-to-back games, especially after a bye week.
Yeah, I think the bye week is going to be key.
Yeah, every day. They've been harping on that, starting fast, getting out the gate, playing well early. And I tell you what, if those kids take that message to heart and they start swinging punches on TCU early, and you're either leading or you're the competitive game at halftime, TCU better watch out, because this Tech club does not get tired. They get stronger as the game goes on. I think Rusty Witt has a big part to do with that.
Yeah.
And if they can keep it close, I know TCU's favored by 7. By God, if you win this, you go 4-2, 2-1 in conference play. I know Kansas is Kansas, but if you really have an opportunity to kind of turn your year around and turn around King Perry's career.
Yeah.
If you win the next 2, but it's got to start with this one. If you beat TCU, then you can worry about Kansas, and if you beat them, and you go to Iowa 5-2, and then who knows what can happen.
Right.
I'm looking at this stuff, and basketball. And let me take back a thought first before we get into basketball. It really got bad on the Guns Up Twitter and the Guns Up Facebook. It was bad after Ole Miss. They got really, really bad after the West Virginia game. You had folks, cussing each other. We would get moderator reports every day. I have no problem with fans complaining. Fans keep complaining. That's fine. Don't call someone a dumbass. And I'm replacing the word with the real word. Don't call them that just because they're trying to be positive about Tech, or if someone's being negative, don't tell them, well, you're a negative blank, or whatever. I was looking at some of the coaches that were hired in the last few years that was supposed to be saviors for the program. Taggart, was brought in to FSU, the Morgan. Everybody thought Scott Cross was going to be like an excellent hire, from Central Florida, UCF, to Nebraska. Lane Kiffin, after going 9-3 last year, you expected big things this year. Every one of those schools are simply not having a good year. And what Mikel, Hilary, Caleb, and myself have been saying a lot lately, just kind of dialoguing with each other, is the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
I would rather, if Jeff is going to take some lumps, bringing in a savior coach to resurrect the program is not working at some premier blue chip programs this year. And to me, if you're going to turn the program around, turn it around with someone who's yours, someone who graduated from your university, somebody you like.
Yeah.
With these three schools, and this is just a general comment, then we'll get on to basketball. Tech fans, just understand what you got, and I think Kirby Hocutt knows that. He understands what he has. He understands that he has a staff in Lubbock that wants to be there. He understands that you're not going to hire some superstar to leave another college to come to Tech. He knows what he has. So that's just kind of where we stand till it comes up. And other folks are entitled to their opinions. They're entitled to say, well, Cliff didn't win 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Then maybe he doesn't come back. That's fine. They can say that. But we feel like that Tech has to keep it with Kingsbury. If there's anything, because of the culture that he's building, because people can say progress and wins and losses all they want. But when you look at the little things that are happening, guys like Dakota Allen coming back after he was kicked off the team, guys like DeMarcus Felton, who was going to transfer, the guy was gone, go back in the spring. But he comes back and he works his way into a role where he starts and he has a successful game of OSU. That's because they have a staff that cares about kids and cares about making them into people, not just football players. So that's kind of where we're at with football. I don't know if y'all want to respond to that, or we can move on to basketball if you want. But we have a great fan base. We have a great fan base, some of the best fans in college football. If Cliff Kingsbury is not the coach next year, regardless, then all you got to do is look at Florida State, Nebraska, Florida Atlantic. Bringing in a new coach doesn't always bring wins. People need to remember that.
Right.
What are you thinking, Steve?
As Tech fans, we have to sort of be objective. I know we've been sort of frustrated with the past few years, and I really do see a different team on the field. It's objectively, I see the progress. I'm starting to see the chemistry of the coaches and the development of the players, and this is a marathon that we're running here, and it's up to us to give Cliff the time, because honestly, he was left with nothing, and so he had to be given the time to make mistakes, to learn from those mistakes, to losing players and learn what it takes to connect with his team and motivate them, inspire them to be winners. And I think he's figuring that out. And I guess my last thought about Tech fans is, we're a school that have high expectations. At the same time, though, we don't deliver on our high expectations as fans by filling up the stadium and doing our part to make sure that we support this team. There's no reason why an 11 o'clock game can't be a packed stadium. There's no reason why we can't have a packed stadium in every single home game. So, we'll probably end up having more fans at Amon G. Carter Stadium against TCU on Thursday night just because of the alumni base we have. But, really, we can throw stones at the football team, but, we haven't given them the support that I feel they deserve.
Yeah. And to that too, there's been some years in the last couple of years where you're hearing transfers, you're hearing all sorts of internal conflicts going on, and whether they're rumors or whether they're facts, it's a fan base. It kind of freaks you out. I haven't heard that this year. Like you said, we've got guys that thought about leaving and they came back, and these guys are playing hard, and they're playing harder the second half than they are the first half most of the time. And we do not have the 5-star recruits, and they're still holding their own with teams like West Virginia. They're making Oklahoma State look like child's play this year anyway. And not that Oklahoma State's a bad team. They may have an off year, but I mean, this is a team that I think even if they've lost years, people are getting around them and saying, "Hey, I can handle these kind of losses."
Yeah, totally.
I can live with this because, man, we fought all the way to the end. We didn't. I mean, there were times in the past where like this team's given up. Are you kidding? This year is different. It's like even if they're losing, they are not giving up. I mean, they could have easily easily shut down that West Virginia game and said, we're going home. But man, they fought back hard, and I got to give them kudos for that. So I hope I'm with you. I've said this at the beginning of this season. I like Cliff. I'm a supporter of him. I know he's had some rough times. He is a young coach. He has had to grow into a Power 5 school, and I think he's done it really classy. And I hope that they see some continued success for his sake this year and for the players' sake. So that's what I got for them. So basketball, man, tell us your thoughts.
Basketball, that's a good question. First of all, I'll tell you what, I've been, I would like to think, a serious supporter of Texas Tech for a long time. I cannot recall the last time you saw Texas Tech flex their muscles in the off-season with recruiting, like this previous off-season of some of their recruits. I'm looking here, and recently there's a lot of news made about 4-star College of Southern Idaho forward Khalid Thomas. This kid is massive, 6'10", he can put the ball on the floor. He beard, to use a baseball phrase, he's a closer. Whether it be him, whether it be Tariq Owens, who's going to play ball for Tech this year, he's going to kind of slide into the role that Zach Smith had last year. They got a point guard by the last name of Mahoney, who played at South Dakota last year, and I saw a video of him today where they were just kind of getting his thoughts and trying to get to know him. Very quiet, mature young man. I tell you what, folks, you pay no attention to the pundits. You got folks saying that because Tech's lost Kenyon Evans, Zach Smith, and freakish athlete Zaire Smith, that Tech are going to take a step back. I really don't think so. And the reason why is because of that coaching staff. Beard will have those kids competitive. He'll have them playing well. And I tell you what, I really wish I lived in the Northeast, because that Duke non-conference game.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow. I mean, if you win that one and you somehow knock off the Blue Devils in New York, because that's going to be a Duke crowd. They can say that's a neutral site all day. But you're going to have Duke fans there. You'll have students probably from Cameron Indoor, driving down there just for the game.
Yep.
This has the makings of a Tech Seton Hall matchup like last year, but only multiply that times 10.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
If you can win that one on the road, I'm looking at the rest of the non-conference schedule, that you've got a chance to play USC, you have a chance to play Nebraska, doing a couple of tournament games. But if you really make some noise in this non-conference schedule, these new recruits you have coming in, I think Jared Culver, this is his year.
Yep.
I know he maybe flirted with, leaving, and moving on to greener pastures, but he wanted to come back. I think if Texas Tech goes, it's going to be because of him. Yeah. Owens, Mahoney, those other guys are good players. I think Odiasi's going to have a good year. Tech has some bench play coming back from last year. I think they're going to do well there. Francis, he was great. But where it's going to start and stop is Jared Culver. I think he's going to be this year's Keenan Evans. He probably won't bring the ball up as much. If you can get him flowing on the wing, maybe some give and go, to get creative, create matchups for him, it's going to have a big year. And you can play the what-if game all day, but I've been impressed with Chris Beard. He is not leaning on the guys that he has already here. He has gone out and he has reloaded the Texas Tech. And it's been probably James Dickey. I know Bob Knight did a great job at the Tech, but I remember the James Dickey years where people saw Jason Sasser, Darvin Ham, bringing these players in, and nobody knew these cats. These were talented players, but you didn't really know what to expect out of them. And then out of the woodwork, they went 30-2. That's what this group has to me. That kind of feel where they're talented players, you brought them in. But I'm excited. I'm excited for basketball like I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting.
What? Tell me this. we're looking at, when you think Tech basketball, it's been a while since you've really, kind of stuck into the Orange Empire at UT, and the recruiting trail, the basketball season. What does this do if Beard has another big year? I was talking to Mikel and Hilary and some of them. Kirby Hocutt has got to be one of our better ADs, that Texas Tech has ever had.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, if Chris Beard somehow squeaks it out, where he didn't have to make the Elite Eight, just make another NCAA tournament, losing with your loss to Zach Smith and Kenan Evans and Zaire, and you still win 20, 25 games. If I'm Kirby Hocutt, as soon as the season's over, Chris Beard's going to earn his contract. People are going to come watch. Last I saw, Tech basketball tickets are near sellout status. Surely you re-sign him at the end of the year. Maybe give him a raise, maybe add another year or two to his contract. UT is not going to bring Chris Beard home. He's just not. I don't care what the Twitter naysayers say about Beard having a connection at UT or whatever. I just don't see it happening. When the man says that it's open in press conference, when Texas Tech called, I was like, Mama called. That said, I think if Tech has another spectacular year, like I think they will, if I'm Kirby Hocutt, I sit down at the end of the year, I pull what you did with Tim Tadlock, write it on a golf cart, something, get the man a deal, get him paid, because he's earned it. He has done a lot for the city of Lubbock.
He has. Well, you saw him even getting in the fire engine, going out recruiting people to tell him to get to the game. Did you see that? That was awesome. That was great.
And he's announcing for people to go to the game.
Yeah, did you see that, Steve?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, I tell you, that was awesome. I'm like, and that's what I love to see. I love to see the coaches supporting each other. Cliff game and it came to the arena and did some things. Beard's returning the favor. Tadlock's right in there in the mix, and I love that. I just love that they're like, we're all in this together. It's cool. It makes it exciting to see. This cohesive camaraderie.
You bring up baseball. I know we talk football and basketball, but I don't know if you paid attention to the news today. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter real quick. Hayward won a basketball award. A baseball assistant coach award. Let me see if I can find I know I liked it somewhere. maybe I can't find it, but here we go. 2017, he was named the National Assistant Coach of the Year by Baseball America. And this is a guy, Hayward, he finds a lot of people for Tadlock. He spoke at Fields of Faith the other night. Kirby Hocutt opened up the field for an FCA event.
Yeah.
Fields of Faith at the stadium. Hayward and Josh Young spoke there. And Beard, Kingsbury, they support each other. It's good to see Hayward and Tadlock, supporting Tech, in different ways. It is a golden age.
It is.
For Texas Tech athletics right now, at almost every level of their infrastructure.
Yeah, I completely agree. I gotta say I was a little excited. My son went to the Tech baseball camp this summer, and he got to take a little bit of advice from Hayward on pitching, and that made my day. I'm going to save that video for the rest of my life. That was awesome. So yeah,
I know.
So good group of folks there, man. So, well, I tell you what, we are getting into the 50-minute mark, so we are going to start to wrap this up. But any final thoughts for you, John? And by the way, tell the other guys, Mikel and Hilary, hey for us.
Yeah, I sure will. And Caleb, poor Caleb, he's the student on our staff.
Oh, Caleb too, yeah.
He finds a way to. He says some pretty funny tweets online, and he always initials when it's his tweet. And he's funny. He's a good guy. No, all of them are good people. I would say, final thoughts. I had said before the year started that if you can win at Oklahoma State for the first time since 2001, then this may be a really special year at the Tech. If I had to extend that statement, I would include Fort Worth in the mix. Mainly because Mike Gundy has always owned you off and on over the years. Gary Patterson has always given you fits.
Yep.
If you win this one, I don't want to. I don't want to be one of those sunshine pumpers that say sky's the limit. But then again, that's who I am. I really, you're 4-2. Surely you beat Baylor. Surely K-State's got problems. Snyder's probably on the way out.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. I hate to see him go out like this.
I do too, but that puts you at 6 wins.
Yeah.
And if you split OU-UT, that leaves it down to surely you beat Kansas. That's 8-9 wins. So this TCU game is a big game to Tech. If you win that one, and I think they will. I think you've got special forces guys and guys with military backgrounds and calm sages on your coaching staff. I think they win this game Thursday, and it'll set the tone for, I think, a special October. Those are my thoughts.
I think that's great, man. Yeah. We really appreciate you coming on again and joining us. It's always a blast to talk to you, my friend. And again, tell all the guys at Guns Up Nation that we said hi, or tell all the folks, I shouldn't say guys, Hilary, sorry. But tell all the folks, all those awesome folks at Guns Up Nation, we said hey, and thanks for all that y'all do for Tech Athletics. Y'all are a great positive support for them, and we really appreciate it. And Steve, I'm going to let you close this episode.
I tell you, it's great when we can talk football for an entire 55 minutes. That's pretty darn good. So, John, certainly appreciate your time today. And, I think it's a great time to be a Texas Tech fan and really a great time to be a sports fan. Astros are doing great. Just a lot of good stuff going on out there in sports. So to all of our listeners, thank you. We appreciate having you listening to us every single week. And we'll talk to you soon on the Testosterone Zone. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome, guys. We're not alone. Y'all hang in there.
We'll do it, man. Thanks again.
Have a good night.
You too.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the Testosterone Zone. We sure had a blast visiting with you. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, leave us some feedback, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
All Testosterone Zone podcast episodes are written and produced by Noel, Keith, and Steve unless otherwise noted.
The opinions expressed in the Testosterone Zone podcast are our own and not those of our employers, families, parents, kids, dogs, cats, your mom, or any other entity Noel, Keith, or Steve are affiliated with now, in the past, or in the future, or ever.